Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday, and welcome to this edition of Balance in Life. I am so excited to have you here today. We're going to talk about the science of gratitude and how it can impact you and your life. The best person I could think of to talk about this is Dawn Burton. Dawn has been on with us before and shared with us some things around pressing forward with resolve and gratitude. And we just gleaned so much from that session way back at the start of 2021. So I hope that you're ready to lean in and to glean some thoughts and perspectives. And what I found in the research is that gratitude isn't just this novel concept or idea that's just sort of ethereal and out there, but there actually is a lot of scientific research around the power of gratitude and what that can do for your overall well-being, mental health, physical health, relationships, productivity, all kinds of things. So I'm super excited to listen in and welcome you back, my good friend and colleague, Dawn Burton from Prairie A&M University. Welcome, Dawn.
Good morning. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here and so glad to be with all of you today. Okay, can you see my slides? Am I good? As Crystal said, excellent. Thank you so much. So today we are going to talk about, I love the formal title that Crystal gave, how the science of gratitude can impact you. But before she came up with the formal title, she had the informal title. And I just love that too, gratitude, practicing it, expressing it, and living it. And so that's what we're going to get into today. So before we get started focusing on gratitude, what I wanted to share or suggest to everyone is about intentionality. I love my quotes. And so the first one says, if you say you can or you say you can't, you are right either way. And that's from Henry Ford. And that was important for me to share with everyone because I want to frame the fact that we have to be intentional about things in our life. The good things, the bad things, the things that should just seem to come easily, we should have some intentionality because life can, either we can set the goal and work towards it, or life can just take us wherever it wants to go. But deep down, we have the ability to do whatever it is we want to do. And then you and only you are ultimately responsible for who you become and how happy you are. And that just speaks so directly to the intentionality that's needed when it comes to being grateful and having joy in your life. And then smile and the world smiles with you, cry and you cry alone. And that's just a reminder that the world the world can either accept the world will support you one way or another. But the reality is you want to be happy. And so it's better to try and find your happy place, find your joy, find your peace, and then let the world see that and move along. Now, I do want to point out that if for some reason something in this message does not resonate with you, you're overwhelmed and you just need more than what this presentation is giving you, there is nothing wrong with seeking professional help. We are in a very stressful time and mental health challenges are real. So please make sure to take care of yourself. And if you feel like you need additional help or you're just not able to find some gratitude, then that might be a sign of a need for professional help. So what is being grateful or gratitude? And the definition says feeling or showing an appreciation of kindness or thankful. The Greek translation says thankful or beholden. And then just in case you're not aware, beholden, the definition of that means owing thanks or having a duty to someone in return for help or service. So gratitude very well can come from just the appreciation and the kindness that others give to you, but it can also just come from your awareness of the pleasures that bring you, the pleasures that you experience in day-to-day life. And then what else is being grateful? It's a recognition that there's goodness in our lives, gifts or benefits that we enjoy and might often take for granted. This goodness is often due to the actions of another person, of another person, but it could also be just from the things that bring you pleasure. Grateful to just wake up in the morning, grateful that you can breathe clearly, grateful that your family and friends are around. And if they're not nearby, you can at least reach out to them. You can through call or video. And when we're grateful, we recognize the intention and effort that went into those actions on our behalf and the benefits that they gave us. And so how gratitude supports health. And it's just amazing, like Crystal said, that there is so much awesome research that says this is not just some fly-by-night theory or some just joke or random thing. This is hardcore research that has found gratitude is good for our bodies, our minds, and our relationships. And some of the examples of how gratitude supports our health in various ways is that when you're grateful, when you practice gratitude, you're more forgiving, you're more outgoing, you feel less lonely and isolated. And sometimes that's all you need is to remember that you're connected. You're grateful for a friend, you're grateful for a pet, a fur baby, just to know that the connection is there. You feel less lonely and isolated, more helpful, generous, and compassionate, more willingly supported by others, because positivity tends to yield and bring positivity. Smile and the world smiles with you. I think there's a quote that says that. And then physically, your stronger immune system, you're less bothered by aches and pains. Imagine that laughter as well as gratitude can help decrease your aches and pains. Lower blood pressure, lower risk of heart attacks. You're able to take better care of your health. You sleep longer and better. And then the psychological effects and consequences of being grateful: higher levels of positive emotions, more alert, active, and awake, more joy and pleasure, more optimism and happiness, and then more resilience to stress. Additional ways are the gratitude improves sleep. There's a tendency to exercise. Really? That's so exciting to know that I don't like to exercise that much, but the more grateful I am, the more natural or the more I'll have a tendency to want to exercise. I've mentioned cardiovascular health, adherence to medication. You're doing well, you want to continue to do well, and then mood, hope, and optimism. It also reduces substance abuse, fat intake for all those people like me who are struggling to try and lose some weight. Cortisol levels are reduced, blood pressure, suicidal thoughts, and inflammation. So those are some great ways that gratitude improves your health and connects you to being well, but it also motivates people to make positive changes in their lives and in the world around them through feelings of connectedness. Gratitude rewards us with a strong network of support and encouragement. It leads us to feeling that we are capable of tackling big challenges. It helps us to feel inspired and uplifted and motivating us to become healthier and more generous people and better and productive workers. Imagine that, just the fact that you're grateful, you're more likely to be highly productive at work. And then expressing gratitude forces us to recognize that our successes are due at least in part to the actions of others. So you have, again, that connectedness, that teamwork. And then indebtedness. Gratitude encourages us to recognize and reciprocate the good that others have given us, thus ridding ourselves of psychological debts that we carry. Now, surveys have found that people are less likely to express thanks at work than any place else. We've talked about all the great benefits of gratitude, but now let's really get into what happens at work when things are not that wonderful and we don't express a lot of gratitude or have a lot of gratitude in our life. 60% of respondents from surveys have never or rarely thanked anyone at work. Are you a part of that 60%? Have you taken time to thank somebody or show gratitude at work? Only 10% express gratitude at work on any given day. So how often when you go through the day, someone possibly helps you and you say thank you, or you don't say thank you. And if you don't, why not? 35% worried that expressing gratitude would lead coworkers to take advantage of them. Oh my goodness, I hope not. But the surveys also say that showing thanks at work make people feel happier, and hearing thanks makes them happier and more productive by 50%. Only 18% felt expressing gratitude made bosses seem weak. 93% said grateful bosses were more likely to succeed. And then in general, thank you from a supervisor boasts self-worth and self-efficacy. Gratitude recipients become more trusting and more helpful. And last but not least, according to the US Department of Labor, the number one reason why people leave their jobs is because they don't feel appreciated. So one takeaway from all of this research is that if we are not showing gratitude at work, we are losing an opportunity to bring joy and gratitude and gratefulness in our lives. As I've been going on and on for a few minutes, I want to take a quick second. Is anybody agreeing in the chat? Can you share with me what's going on in the chat?
Yeah, well, people start posting in the chat, Dawn, a couple things that stand out is like, Herman posted like how it uplifts him if Bethany or I or another colleague sends a quick thank you or a compliment for something that's done. And as I was reading over that, sharing back out, like, yes, same is true for me. And yet sometimes we get so busy in the tasking and the doing that we don't take the time to say thank you or to say how well something went or someone performed. We just kind of move quickly to the next thing. And that good intention is a good intention, but it doesn't have any impact if you don't actually follow through. So when you were sharing the statistics of how few of us actually say thank you, I can say for me, it was a personal like, oh, I've got to do better in this area because it really is important. And there is some, affirmation agreement in the chat around that. But what also stands out is what you just said about people leaving their jobs. I mean, that's everything we keep talking about right now, right? If people, leaving positions or considering leaving positions or companies, organizations looking to hire people, just looking at the importance of expressing that gratitude and either retaining, but also even recruiting people to, join your team, join your organization, can really go a long way. So that's something that's resonating, I think, with lots of us.
Excellent, excellent. So that's something that we can definitely do at work. And that's good that we start to realize that, because sometimes we get so bogged down, like you were saying, we're so focused on accomplishing tasks and being productive that we forget we're all human and we need self-care. And a part of self-care is gratitude, not only for yourself, but remembering to have that gratitude at work as well as at home. The work-life balance includes gratitude. And so again, how can it help us? Just to reiterate, over the past 2 decades, studies have consistently identified strong benefits of gratitude for our minds, bodies, and relationships. It increases happiness and life satisfaction. And like we just said, life is not just personally, but professionally as well. Grateful people are more resilient to stress. We've talked about stress, and to know that one of the remedies, or at least one of the things that minimizes the effects of it, is to be grateful, something to definitely keep in mind. Grateful people get along better with others. Think about those difficult coworkers and imagine how life could change at work if maybe you just extended some gratitude and worked with them in that way. Grateful people are less depressed. Think about the last thing, what you are most grateful for right now. Let's just take a second. What are you really grateful for? Whatever it is, a person, a place, a thing, whatever it is. What are you grateful for? And when you think about what you're grateful for, what feelings do you feel? If you could put that in the chat, what are you feeling when you think about what you're grateful for? Please share that in the chat. And then grateful people achieve more, and grateful people are more helpful and generous, right? Because when you feel good, you want to help people. If someone needs help, what's the chat? What's going on in the chat?
Herman, you want to share out what you're seeing?
Yeah, I said that I'm grateful for having a job that enables me to help people. This is something that I've always done, all my life. I've been the type of person that likes to reach out and help people. Anytime I see somebody struggling with something, I like to be able to reach out to them and help them. And so I'm happy that I'm in a position that I have a job that I can actually do that, and that's my job.
That's awesome, Herman. That is truly a blessing.
People are also sharing the feelings, right? Peace is coming up a lot. Warmth, right? Peace, warmth, love, thankful, blessed, feeling. I think Bethany posted the word awe, feeling in awe. Yeah, positive feelings.
That's
like overwhelmed by the many blessings.
A thought did come to mind while you were talking. I had a terrible time with one of my coworkers a good while back. Fortunately, it was only one time. But if you're giving thanks out to everybody, especially in an open room in a meeting, and you leave somebody's name out, sometimes that can cause some terrible repercussions. So it almost makes you want to just say, "I want to thank everyone," But when you do that, it kind of it dampens it down so much when I don't say, "Hey, I want to thank Bethany for blah blah blah. I want to thank Crystal for blah blah blah," and then you didn't thank so and so, and now they are feeling terrible. And then I've felt repercussions from that for a long time.
Herman, that is an awesome example, and you're actually touching on something that we're going to get into in just a few moments. But I want you to know, as bad as you feel when that happens, please understand that everyone is human. And once you correct that error by going to them and just being sincere, I'm sure they will appreciate it and you will appreciate it. And it smooths it out. And so I just want to reiterate the opportunity to correct whatever mistake, because we're going to make mistakes. We're human. Blame it on the head and not the heart is a common saying that I know I hear and I use. And so anyway, not to belabor the point, thank you so much for sharing that, Herman. And that is so true. But I appreciate you. I'm grateful that you shared that, because some more practices that I want to share with people to practice gratitude. One of them is a journal, another is a letter, and the other one is gratitude meditation. Now, before I go any further, I have to acknowledge the Greater Good magazine. This is at California, Berkeley. And for more ideas and for more of this great information, please go there. I know Crystal does a great job, or the team does a great job of sharing all this information, but this is where I got all of this information from, or 99% of it anyway. And one thing that I won't have time to get into, but is a very awesome practice, is the guided meditation. It's about a 10-minute guided practice to promote resilience by using imagery of heart-centered gratitude. And this exercise draws on a guided meditation created by Dr. Kathy Kemper, and the executive director of the Ohio State University College of Medicine Center for Integrative and Health and Wellness. There's a script and there's specific and clear directions. And so I encourage you all to go there, visit, and practice the guided meditation, in addition to possibly trying the journal and trying the letter. Now, with any of these practices, remember, these are guides. They're not rules. So as you practice, there might be a few things I know I'm going to say, if it doesn't work for you, it's okay. Do what works for you, right? So if it works for you, then keep doing it, regardless of what the research says, because these are just guides. They're not rules. So we've talked about a journal, gratitude journal before, and I think we talked about just writing things down, because that wonderful feeling you get when you think about what is wonderful and what you are grateful for, when you go back and read it, it gives you that same feeling. And sometimes you forget the smaller detail. And number one, it goes back to what Herman was talking about. Be as specific as possible. Specificity is the key to fostering gratitude. And when you're writing in your journal, you might say, I'm grateful that my coworker brought me soup when I was sick on Tuesday, or I'm grateful for the way my coworkers celebrated my birthday. But something more specific and direct than just, I'm grateful for my coworkers. Number two, go for depth over breadth. Elaborating in detail about a particular person or thing for which you're grateful carries more benefits than a superficial list of many things. Get personal. Focusing on people to whom you are grateful has far more of an impact than focusing on things that you're grateful. But sometimes in this COVID time, you have to take what you can get. So if you're not able to focus on people for whatever reason, then feel free to list the music that you listen to, the favorite items that bring joy from memories. Do what works for you. Try subtraction, not addition. You might be wondering, what am I talking about? Consider what your life would be like without certain people or things, rather than just tallying up all the good stuff. Be grateful for the negative outcomes you avoided, escaped, prevented, or turned into something positive. Try not to take that good fortune for granted. And then also, see good things as gifts. Thinking of good things in your life as gifts guards against taking them for granted. Try to relish and savor the gifts you've received. Savor surprises. Try to record events that were unexpected or surprising, as these tend to elicit stronger levels of gratitude. Revise if you repeat. Writing about some of the same people and things is okay, but again, zero in on the specific details that make the person or the situation a little bit different. Write regularly. Whether you write every day or once a week or once every 2 or 3 days, commit to a regular time to journal, then honor that commitment. Now, here's where I suggest, do what works for you, because number 9 says don't overdo it. And the evidence suggests that writing occasionally, like maybe 1 to 3 times per week, is more beneficial than daily journaling. And that might be because we adapt to positive events and can soon become numb to them. But that's why it helps to savor surprises. But again, if it works for you and it's helping you, then do it as much as you need to. And you might do it in different forms, meaning you write it down for 3 days, and then but every day you commit to, before you go to bed, just think about them, just hold on to them and recall those spaces and places and times. Now, what we did not talk about before was a gratitude letter. And so what I suggest is another opportunity to experience gratitude, not only for yourself, but share that gratitude with someone else, is to write a letter. And some steps and some tips on how to write the letter is old-fashioned letter writing. Write as though you're addressing this to a person, dear whomever. Don't worry about perfect grammar or spelling. Describe in specific terms what this person did, why you're grateful to this person, and how this person's behavior affected your life, and try to be as concrete as possible. Describe what you are doing in your life now and how often you remember his or her efforts. And then try to keep your letter roughly 1 page, 300 words. Now, as much as this is an awesome suggestion, we are in the modern technology age, and so an old-fashioned letter may or may not work for some people. So my alternative suggestions to this gratitude letter is just make sure to extend and contact the people that you want to express the gratitude for. It could be a text message, it could be an email, it could be a phone call. And then this part 2 to the letter is schedule time to actually engage with them in person. We lose so much by not connecting in person, but maintaining the social distance through social media, that I think we lose something. So my recommendation is not only the letter, but when you decide that you're going to write a letter, engage with them through written text so that they can have it and you can express everything in the written form, but then also follow up or initiate things with a phone call so that you can connect. You might not be able to meet in person, but video calling is definitely an option now. And with that, I want to say thank you. And again, I have to highlight and just give much gratitude and appreciation for California Berkeley's Greater Good magazine, the Science-Based Insights for a Meaningful Life. Again, you can find a lot of this information and so very much more at greatergoodberkeley.edu. The Greater Good Science Center at the University of California, Berkeley studies the psychology, sociology, and neuroscience of well-being and teaches skills that foster a thriving, resilient, and compassionate society. The GGSC is unique in its commitment to both science and practice. Not only do they sponsor groundbreaking scientific research into social and emotional well-being, but they also help people apply this research to their personal and professional lives. And what I'd like to end with is that gratitude is so important that it is a part of your work-life balance. So as much as you focus on your personal life and making sure you're grateful there, make sure you're grateful at work as well. Thank you so much. I hope you all enjoyed this presentation.
Dawn, thank you so much for some reminders, but also some, you know, some of us like the data, we like the science. So sharing out some of those pieces around the science are really important too. And so I thank you for that. And I'm going to kick it over to Herman and Bethany and see, what are you thinking? What are you taking from this? I'm going to start with you, Bethany. What do you have?
So this reminded me, and I know we're staying on all the positives when we're talking about gratitude, but it reminds me that when we're talking about some difficult or challenging times that you're going to go through with folks in any relationship, there's going to be disagreements and things like that. It is so much easier to have those hard conversations when you have also been giving the positives and the gratitude to that person, right? And so if you're only talking to that person in the context of criticism or pointing out things, and it's always framed in, we're talking because I have to bring this up because it's negative, and not just at work, at home too, right? With a parent-child relationship or a spouse. If you're only having those criticisms to say, it's really tough. But if, 9 times out of 10, we're giving each other compliments or we're showing that we're grateful for even the tiniest of things, right? Then when you have to say husband or daughter or wife or coworker, listen, I've got this thing that I'd like for us to work on, it's so much easier. You come from a more trusted space. So that's what Dawn has reminded me this morning, is that it's about building up that bank. And I think we've had that conversation on Balancing Life before, where you've got to build that up a little bit to be able to have those tougher conversations. And maybe that's where we can do better, because I think a lot of times conflict and communications break down quickly because two people are coming only to talk about something negative or two totally different viewpoints, instead of having built up some sort of bank of maybe not even gratitude, but just respect across the board about, hey, we don't get along on this particular issue, but I do see you doing this and I really like it, or I can see you in another context and we have some commonality that we can come to. So thank you, Dawn. That was a light bulb moment for me.
Very welcome. Very welcome. That's a great point.
Yes, indeed. I agree with that too. That's setting that foundation ahead of time. What I picked up was the letter writing. I used to write letters like crazy back in the 70s, because we could call people on the phone, but when I was in the dorm on campus, you could only stay on the phone for so long, because you got a line of people waiting to use that payphone that's in the hall in the dormitory. So we wrote a lot of letters back in the day, and that's something that we just don't do anymore. But when I do get a letter from somebody, like I get a letter from the county administrator or something, I'm like, oh, what is this? I'm waiting and say, he's thanking me. Oh my goodness. It just makes you feel so much better. And then I got a letter from Barack Obama when my dad passed away, and I'm pretty sure that he didn't sit down and write it himself, but it felt good to me when I got it, and it was a letter, and it was signed by him, and I was like, oh man, this is just, and I kept it, I got it in a little frame, and it's so special to me, and and a friend of mine saying you used to, I remember, letters that you wrote back in the day, and that was really special, and that touched on something when you said that, and I said maybe I should write a letter now and then.
Herman, that resonated with me so much as well. I just recently, in cleaning up and going through things, found a letter from my grandmother, and she passed in 2001 or two, a long time ago. But it was so warm and fuzzy to read the letter, to see her handwriting. And that's something that I think we miss out on and we lose. We don't have those mementos that we used to have, that letter writing brought about. So yes, I completely agree. But again, technology is a wonderful thing, and sometimes it's better to just get it done. And so if you have to do a text or email, the point is to connect and to share your gratitude with someone.
Thank you. I appreciate that. One of the things I appreciated you sharing, and it actually felt a little freeing to me, was the note of the gratitude journal, that it doesn't have to be a daily writing. And sometimes that honestly feels overwhelming to me, which is probably why I don't keep it going, right? It just kind of fizzles out because I have this expectation that I'm supposed to do it every single day or I've fallen short. But I appreciate the call out that you can do it every couple of days, but then just get in your mind, be intentional about thinking about the things that you are grateful for. So the thing I'm also going to take away from this is I'm going to do a better job of pausing to say thank you, and whatever the format is. And I do find myself sometimes making it such a big thing that I never get around to actually doing it, right? So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make this card. Like I was gonna make this whole big scrapbook for my sister one time and never actually gave it to her because it was such a big thing. And she stumbled across it one time looking for something. I was out of town, I asked her to go to my house and find something. And she's like, oh, did you mean to give this to me? I'm like, yeah, I never. So, but just thinking about the way to do it and making sure it's done and not done at some high level, right? So Sarah Pratt, if you're on, I'm listening to you, like good enough sometimes, because sometimes that, making it excellent, I don't get it done. But I personally am going to be much more intentional about saying thank you and not making it such a big deal that it doesn't actually get done. So that's what I'm taking from this today, Dawn. So I hope that you all who are listening have something that you're going to take away from this session as well. It's really important to think about how we're going to say thank you to people, what we're going to do, how we're going to express that. And I do appreciate that we need to do that in our workspaces, but we also need to do that at home. And so I'm going to make sure I tell my family thank you more, because Bethany, to your point, coming with something that needs correcting or needs addressing without having built up a good solid bank of gratitude could land us in a spot that we didn't want to be. So what are you going to do? What are you all going to do? I hope that you're going to take this moment and be intentional, as Dawn started us out with, and think about how you are going to live and practice gratitude in your daily life. It's good for all of us. It's good for our overall well-being, good for our relationships, good for our productivity. So I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Dawn, thank you always for being back with us. Herman and Bethany, my awesome teammates, thank you for being here and supporting us. And thank you all for logging in today and for continuing to share out these recordings and invitations to other people in your spaces that you think might benefit as well. Thanks all and have a great weekend. Bye.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you all. Have a great weekend.
You too.